Hey guys, it's Jacob here, and today I am super excited to show you Vocoder V, our own original instrument based on the iconic vocoder effect. In this tutorial I will show you its great sounding presets and a whole array of fantastic features. Let's check it out. The vocoder sound usually consists of two parts, a carrier, which is usually a synthesizer, and a modulator, which is usually a voice. The combination of these signals is what creates the classic tuned robot voice heard on so many records. Vocoder V combines both of these signals for all-in-one vocoder toolkit and then beyond. With features such as the beautiful 3D interface, an authentic 16-band Patchbay, advanced vocal pitch tracking, and even a built-in sample player, it goes far beyond the usual vocoder formula into an exciting new creative dimension. Alright, now let's see it in action. Vocoder V consists of two parts that are laid out on the front panel, with an additional set that can be found in the advanced view. The first one is the carrier of the instrument, which is a fully featured synthesizer with two oscillators. The second one is the carefully emulated 16-channel vocoder engine with multiple extra features. The advanced section combines the voice and sample sections where the modulator signal is handled, with the additional modules such as the envelope follower, LFO, keyboard modulation, and a whole array of great effects. To start using Vocoder V in the standalone mode with the microphone or any other external input, simply go to the Audio MIDI settings and enable it from there. If you are working in DAW such as Ableton Live, all you have to do is to create a MIDI channel with the Vocoder V and additional audio track with your microphone input, which will be routed to the MIDI channel with the Vocoder V instance. If you don't want to sync into the Vocoder V, you can use it without any external input and use the sample player as your modulator. The carrier part of the Vocoder V is composed of the polyphonic synthesizer module with two oscillators, both producing various set of waveforms. To hear the carrier itself, simply click on the little icon in the synth area above. The two oscillators are almost identical in their structure. Their set of waveforms consist of the triangle, saw, square and noise. There's also a shape control that wavefolds triangle and saw waveforms. While providing the pulse width for the square. And color change for the noise, making it either brighter or dull. There's also a frequency control that changes the pitch in semitones. As well as the oscillator sync switch that synchronizes the pitch of the first oscillator with the second one. Lastly, there is a volume level at the end, allowing to adjust the volume levels of both of these sound sources. The control found in the middle is called FM, and it sets the amount of the frequency modulation applied from the oscillator 2 to the oscillator 1. The two extra controls found in the second oscillator are the fine parameter, which changes its frequency in cents, and the fixed switch that disconnects the keyboard notes tracking from the second oscillator's frequency. The synthesizer module also has its own envelope with the attack and release stages, allowing to change the sound behavior over time. As well as the ensemble effect that provides a rich stereo enhanced signal. Lastly, this section features a chord mode, allowing you to play a chord with just one finger. You can choose from 12 voicings, including your own custom one, as well as use the hold switch and glide plus bend range controls. What is super exciting is the fact that you can produce a lot of different textures and timbres, either subtle or aggressive, with the use of the carrier. The upper part of the instrument is where you'll find a detailed emulation of the classic vocoder hardware with the big filter bands Patchbay at its core. Here we are able to control various aspects of the vocoded signal, which is a combination of the incoming signal from your microphone or a sampler, as well as the synth one. It is the Patchbay where the vocoded signal is split into the 16 channels, each represented by its own filter band with a dedicated gain control. This allows you to shape the signal by taking away or introducing each band, making the signal more bassy or more rich in the mid or high frequencies, depending on your desire.
Just like this right now, oh yeah.
Each band comes in with its own input and output, allowing you to further change the tone and character of the vocoded signal. The Patchbay comes with a few great presets which will direct you straight towards a selection of classic and outside of the box sounds. These will work great with external samples too. The left area starts with the mixer where you can define the volume levels of both your voice
Like this, vocoded signal lower and higher,
and the synth carrier part. You can also monitor their signals separately by activating the little headphone icon next to them. Okay, next up in line there is an attack and release envelope of the vocoder. The attack defines the amount of time that the vocoded band will take to react, like this.
Now I'm increasing the attack time of the modulator signal.
While the release stage sets the amount of time that bands will take before going to zero after the incoming signal stops, like this.
Increasing the release time.
Alright, below the envelope there are two important controls that can drastically change the behavior of the bands. The first one, called Shift, can shift the frequency bands either up or down.
This control can make it sound brighter or dull.
While the Width control will either shrink or expand them.
The width is going to make it thinner or thicker like this, expanding the bands or making them shrink.
Below the routings you'll find the sample and hold module which, when activated, will grab and hold the currently played vocoder bands until the switch is set back to off. This will allow you to play the captured band across the keypad and control band's frequency. More than that, thanks to the balance control, you can also define how much of the hiss and bass parts of the vocoded signal you will hear in the final mix. The hiss part represents the sibilances of your voice, while the bass stands for the plosives.
Demonstration is part of the voice and the buzzy parts as well. Buzzy parts are the plosives. Balance is set to zero now.
You can also define how fast the sibilance signal decays by setting it either to fast mode,
Presentation of the fast sibilant mode.
or slow mode.
Now it's time for the slow sibilance mode.
The last elements of the vocoder module allow you to manipulate the high frequencies of its signal. To boost those, simply increase the high frequency level control.
Boosting the high frequencies of the vocoded signal. Now you can hear me more clearly.
You can also define the vocoder high frequency mode too. When set to switch, the high frequencies will pass through according to the hiss signal detection.
High frequency switch mode presentation. High frequency switch mode is on.
And when set to direct, they will pass through at all times.
Direct mode passing at all times like this.
This module is crucial for the transparency of your singing. If that is the goal that you're after, make sure to set it to higher values.
A transparency like this should be fine.
Finally, the vocoder part is finished with the dry and wet controls that sets the ratio between dry and vocoded signals.
Let's check out the dry with mix ratio of the vocoded signal. Now it's fully dry, and now it's fully wet. Wet,
Dry
and wet. Wet,
dry
and wet.
as well as with the overall master volume knob. Alright, moving on to the advanced panel, it consists of the voice, modulations and effect sections. The voice tab is where the modulator signal is handled. As you can see, it is divided into two parts. The voice input is where you can enable the external inputs to come in. These are, for example, your microphone or audio coming from the DAW.
Voice with ears.
The sample player, on the other hand, allows you to play back various built-in samples or your own personal samples, which play the role of the modulator. This section provides an incoming signal spectrum analyzer, pitch tracking module, a parametric EQ and a built-in compressor. It is also worth to notice the Help tab that informs you on how to set up your input depending on whether you use it in a standalone mode or within your DAW, as well as the gain and signal threshold controls. The pitch tracking tool is a fantastic feature that allows you to play the instrument by your singing, just like this.
I have just activated the pitch tracking mode. Yeah.
It is possible because the pitch tracking allows to drive the carrier's keyboard with the detected pitch from the voice input signal. What's even cooler is that you can enable quantization on to increase your chances to always be in tune.
With the quantize on, I'll always get tuned. Let's go and have some fun tonight.
On top of that, you can use the parametric EQ to shape the frequency spectrum by taking away the unwanted frequencies and boosting the desired ones.
Using EQ to cut out some lows and add variability of the high frequencies.
As well as the compression to handle the dynamics of the modulator signal.
Let's use the compressor too. Compression is on.
Alright, next up is the sample player. Here you can load up to 12 samples, thus using the Vocoder V without the need of any incoming signal. The sample engine is divided into the two playing modes, the keyboard and cycle 1. In the cycle mode, each new note on event coming from your keyboard will trigger the sample, which will be played accordingly to its playback direction. While in the keyboard mode, you are able to gain additional control over the sample playback by dedicating the C1 octave to serve as a sample playback selector. You can load up to 12 samples and activate them by pressing a dedicated note and then using the octaves below or above to actually play these samples chromatically, allowing for more precision than in cycle mode. In both of these modes you can define if you will play with the legato on, where the samples will play until the end as long as the notes are held, or with legato off, where they will be retriggered with a new note event once the keys are released. Alright, to edit a sample, simply press on one of the 12 sample slots. Then inside you are presented with a waveform visualizer where you can see the sound in detail. Here you can edit the start and end points as well as introduce the loop at any given moment, which will really enhance the way that a sample can sound. Beyond that, you can increase the sample's gain or even activate the time stretch that will stretch the audio without interrupting its pitch by using time divisions or the multiples of the sample itself, which is a really great addition. If you've got multiple samples loaded, you can use the locked button to make sure you can edit the one that you want. Both EQ and compressor are also present to use in the sample player section. The Vocoder V feature set is complemented by the great addition of the modulation sections. Here you can really go beyond the classic vocoder sound, turning it into a fully featured sound shaping tool. An envelope follower creates its own unique modulation shape based on the incoming waveform signal, whether it's your voice, an external drum break, or the internal sample. It works especially great with the external drum sounds. You can introduce these while using Vocoder V in your DAW with a dedicated audio track that plays the drum sound, which is routed to a MIDI track with the Vocoder V instance, or by simply loading up a drum loop in the sample player. That's pretty cool. We can also target the vocoder band's parameters. As well as the carrier parameters. Another modulation device is the LFO, which comes with the classic set of waveforms, can be clocked to the master tempo, and will target two destinations at the same time. Here we can explore remaining parts of the vocoder controls and use the LFO with the sine waveform to modulate the balance between the sibilants and plosives, which also sounds really cool.
Things will never be the same again.
On top of that, we can also use the assign area to modulate more controls and modules, this time with the keyboard modulation signals such as the mod wheel, aftertouch, velocity or the carrier's envelope. For this example, we will pick the mod wheel and attach it to the ensemble control, allowing us to introduce the stereo enhanced signal at any given time while we play, like this.
Once the ensemble goes up, everything feels so wide.
Alright, last in the signal path are the great sounding effects which play a major part in the overall sonic richness and diversity of Vocoder V. At your disposal there are 11 spatial, dynamic and modulation effects. Each one comes with a dry and wet fader and allows for some of its controls to be modulated via the envelope follower, LFO or the keyboard's controls. In this example I am introducing two effects with the use of the mod wheel and one with the aftertouch, allowing myself to drastically change the sound with the slight movement of my hands.
With the effects going on, it just sounds so nice.
Alright, that's it for the tutorial. Hopefully you get a chance to see how versatile and unique Vocoder V is. Once you'll give it a try, it will take your music production process to a completely new level. Don't forget to drop us a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching and see you guys soon.